As a director, I always want to be able to tell a story that I know my audience can relate to. When I was creating the short film Soon, I was in the process of moving, and so I knew that I had to incorporate that aspect into the film as well, but I wanted to do it in a way that wouldn't also take away from the storyline. What happens throughout the film is actually something that happened to me and my husband in real life. He's military, and we just bought this house, and I actually had to end up closing on it. And as a spouse who is always doing stuff alone, and it gets hard, especially these big moments in your life you would normally share with your significant other, you end up having to do alone. And I really wanted to portray that because I know what it feels like, and I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of other spouses who go through the same thing. So I thought that that was a great way to portray that into a film, something that I feel others could relate to. Creating title sequences is probably one of my favorite parts because I get to be very creative. And with this title sequence, I really wanted to kind of give a sneak peek at what's going to be told in the story without really giving it away, and kind of get a glimpse into the characters before actually seeing them for the first time on screen. This first shot where I'm painting the wall, I actually had my husband help me out and try to pan the shot for me. That's one of the hardest things I found about shooting this film, is making sure that I'm in focus. I tried a lot to kind of replace myself, put my husband where I would normally stand, try and get focusing right, and then I'd hop into the shot. But one thing I didn't take into account when I did shoot these scenes is that my husband has darker hair and is darker in skin tone than I am. So even though I would get him perfectly exposed, once we would switch spots, me with my blonde hair and the lighting behind my head, I tended to be really overexposed. And a lot of these I couldn't reshoot because, like I said, this is stories kind of based off of my real life situation. Right after we bought this house, my husband did have to go out to sea. So I had to do the best I could in post to try and kind of map out this area to lower the exposure. But other than that, shooting this scene was actually pretty fun with my husband. He tries so hard, and he's not an actor whatsoever, but he really does try. And so a lot of the times he'd get this look on his face where he would instantly forget the line and just start laughing. So I had to kind of do it piece by piece with the shots that I have, which is one of the reasons why you see a lot of the back and forth between us, and one of the reasons why I tend to shoot the whole thing in different scenes and sections. But when I switch back into the scene where we're in our bedroom, this panning shot I actually did take, I had put a pillow next to my husband to pretend that it was me because I really wanted to be behind the camera for a lot of these shots. This section right here has a completely different vibe than the beginning where, we're arguing and all of this. This scene, I didn't want a lot of talking. I wanted the music to really tell the story and the emotions that I wanted to portray for this type of emotion that a lot of us spouses get. And if you know someone who's in the military and has left, or you're a spouse or in the military yourself, you understand, sometimes it's so hard to really say the words that you want to say, and your anger and your emotions are just all over the place. So I wanted to really capture these little moments right here as he's getting ready and is leaving, and she's just watching him not knowing what to say.
I love you. See you soon.
So the flashback scene was actually thought of later on in the process. When we originally shot the scenes a couple classes ago, I never wrote this in there. It was just after putting all the footage together, I just felt like something was missing and a connection between the audience and these characters, because they instantly just argue and then there's a lot of silence throughout the film. So I thought throwing this flashback kind of gives the audience this behind the scenes look into who these characters are and the love that they have. And I think it really also tells a story for how, the woman is feeling, and she's upset, and all of a sudden she gets these memories and instantly remembers how much she loves him and doesn't want him to leave without saying it. These outside shots were pretty fun to make. Our neighbors were kind of staring at us because we just moved in, but I had this vision of what I wanted, and I really feel like I was able to tell that. You see the distance between them. You see her running out there like, no, wait. And I ended up throwing in the "I'll see you soon" at the very end, last minute, because I wanted that extra boost of emotion of, this is what spouses go through. And at the end of the day, we know we'll see him again. Overall, I'm really happy with how this film turned out. And I'm really proud of myself for actually getting through making this, because my husband is out to sea right now and I've really been feeling it lately, especially constantly watching these videos and clips of us together and him putting on his uniform in these shots and stuff. I'm really proud of what I created. And of course, I wish I was able to be behind the camera the whole time and direct the way I wanted to and have actors and not have to shoot myself in the film. But I think also being able to shoot myself in the film is also what made it special, because it is a story that me and my husband live on a daily basis. So I really am proud of how this film turned out, and I hope you all enjoyed watching it too.